Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and we got some breaking news to cover here. The Las Vegas Raiders have traded away defensive tackle Johnathan Hankins to the Dallas Cowboys. What you guys are going to see here on this video is the entire trade details, everything you need to know of why I believe the Raiders traded away Hankins, and I actually think that there's a reason why Hankins ended up landing in Dallas. We'll talk about who it impacts the most and what the Raiders can potentially look for going forward. So Hankins, 30 years old, has been in the NFL since, I believe, like 2013, second-round pick out of Ohio State. Hasn't played all that well this season, if I'm being 100% honest with y'all. I think he's looked a little slower than what we've seen in the past. 8 tackles, 0 sacks. We were hoping that Hankins was going to be able to step up. And I think the overall hope was that Hankins needed to be a player that the Raiders could depend on a little bit more in the defensive interior. He's really just a run stopper at this point of his career. So before we continue to break more stuff down around Hankins, I got to know, the nation, let me know down in the comment section right now, because I know this. Tom Downey, who runs our Cowboys show, is going to have all of his Cowboys friends come jump up in our chat. All I know is this. I want you battling them out with them. I want you having a real-life discussion. Who won the trade? If the Raiders are getting a 6th-round pick in 2023, the Dallas Cowboys get Johnathan Hankins, and then a 7th-round pick in 2024. If you believe that the Raiders won this deal, type LV in the chat. If you think that the Dallas Cowboys won the deal, I want you to type DAL. For me personally, I think that this is a win for both sides, and I can honestly sit up here and say that. 1, Hankins wasn't playing all that well. 2, if you invested in Neil Farrell Jr. and a Matthew Butler, you want those players to progress in the right way. Honestly, Andrew Billings was out playing Hankins. Kendall Vickers was playing better than Hankins. Bilal Nichols you invested in, at least Dave Ziegler did, so you got to at least give him more opportunities. Hankins was an older player. He was going to be a free agent this offseason, and if you knew that you weren't going to bring him back, why not get some sort of draft capital for him? So Billings is going to be your top guy now. Bilal Nichols is there. The reason why this trade happened, though, is because of Neil Farrell Jr. and because of Matthew Butler. Those 2 players single-handedly are going to start getting more playing time. One of my biggest worries about the Raiders' defensive interior was it's already weak. Losing Hankins does not help your defensive tackle room. So even though Farrell and Butler need to step up, to me this team still needs to add somebody in free agency, whether that be a Sheldon Richardson, Linval Joseph, Ndamukong Suh. I know a lot of y'all want me to say Darius Philon. That's another name to throw out there. Or you can make a trade. Deron Payne, he's available. Michael Brockers. You need to add extra defensive tackle help. And as promised, if the Raiders make a move, I don't care what time of day it is, I don't care what we're doing. Jeremy over here is getting ready to eat lunch. They trade for Johnathan Hankins, and Jeremy looked at me and goes, I'll eat after we do a video today. We know, sometimes we go live for a very long time. So if you love the Raiders and you want to stay up to date on this team, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on those notifications, because when breaking news happens, we got you covered. Also, I take a lot of pride. Chat Sports, we take a lot of pride in what we do. I put out this video last week, Raiders trade candidates. Guess who was in the video? Johnathan Hankins. Why? When you look at what the Raiders were doing, the fact that he was a Week 5 healthy scratch, that should just send off alarms in your head like, oh crap, that's not a good sign for Hankins. I saw that. I talked to some people who I knew, and I was like, man, I think Hankins is going to be out the door with the NFL trade deadline. So that happened. That's why you subscribe to this channel. Do we put out crazy rumors sometimes? Yes, it's my job to talk about them. But you can learn a lot from shows like this. And in fact, later on this week, I'm going to do a video about Raiders trade targets. If I can hit on Raiders trade candidates, I'm going to almost guarantee that I'm going to hit on at least one Raiders trade target as well. So again, Raiders defensive depth chart is now this. After the silver and black traded away Hankins to Dallas, which I actually live in Dallas, and I'm kind of curious to see if I run into Hank. I tagged him on Instagram. His wife has already responded and said, let's grab dinner sometime. So I might grab dinner with Hankins, but don't get mad at me because he's now a member of the Dallas Cowboys. So you got Andrew Billings, Bilal Nichols, Neil Farrell Jr., Matthew Butler, and Kendall Vickers. This is your defensive tackle room. I'm going to look at all y'all in the eyes right now. Family is about being honest with each other right here. What's your confidence level in that defensive tackle room? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident at all. 10 being that's the best damn defensive tackle room in the NFL. If you're typing 10, I would love to know what you tell people on social media dating apps how big it is because you're lying. I'm going to sit here and say 3, 4, and I'm talking about my confidence level, nothing else. A 3 or a 4. Andrew Billings has played a lot better than expected. Kendall Vickers has played a lot better than expected. Bilal Nichols has struggled. Hankins, according to PFF, was, I believe, in the bottom 20 of defensive tackles, so they rated over 100 other guys better than Hank. He was struggling, but this was already a bad defensive tackle unit, and now it's gotten worse. All I'm saying is if McDaniels and Ziegler try to sell me on, oh, we got enough pieces, you try to do the exact same thing with Brandon Parker and Alex Leatherwood. I know this team well. I know the nation knows this team well. You need to make some adjustments because there is no way you can be confident in that defensive tackle room. And a lot of people want to bark at Chandler Jones. I'm one of them. You know what would help out Chandler Jones and help out Max Crosby even more? If you bolster that defensive interior room, that way those guys aren't getting double teamed every single time. Now the Raiders are sitting here at 2-4. It's a brand new season. You got the New Orleans Saints coming up here in Week 8. A lot of winnable games actually. Then you got the Jags in Week 9. You got the Colts with Sam Ehlinger in Week 10. Personally, Matt Ryan's better than Sam Ehlinger. Not afraid to say that whatsoever. So those next 3 games to me, all winnable games. You can bet on every single Raiders game by going to chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125. That's going to get you 125% deposit bonus, which means if you put down $100 for first-time BetUS users, you get $125 for free to bet with. Put $10 down on the Raiders. Put $20 down on the Raiders. If you lose, you're like, oh, shit, I still got $125 for free to bet with. This is an incredible deal. It's the best place to make all your sports bets. MLB, college football, NBA, NFL, Raiders. Chatsports.com/Raiders. So we're breaking down the Johnathan Hankins trade news here on the Las Vegas Raiders Report. Some of y'all are going to watch this live. Some of you guys are going to see this on a later date, which, hey, it's all good. It's totally fair. I really, truly believe that this is a trade that not only makes sense for the Raiders if they didn't plan on bringing back Hankins, because when you drafted Farrell, I sat up here and I said, that's bad news for Hankins. If you don't believe me, go back to the draft videos. He's 6'4", he's 330 pounds, he's a big boy up the middle. I wanted Farrell to learn behind Hankins because from sitting down, getting to know him, from doing the competitive burger eating challenge, from after the burger challenge, I got to go back to his house. We had some more food, some drinks, getting to know Hank. I wanted Farrell to learn behind Hank because being a 9-year vet in the NFL is not easy. And I believe Hankins did a lot of the right things. And I'm hoping that Hankins instilled a lot of that into what Neil Farrell Jr. is able to do. Because Jr. to me, really, really solid player from top to bottom. And I don't really think many people would, disagree with that. Also, you're hoping that Matthew Butler can take the next step. You got to continue to grow. But in terms of Hankins from top to bottom, from getting to know him, from getting to know his family, the move to Dallas is one that's probably going to make him and his family happy. Some of y'all might not like to hear that, but it's the truth. His wife lived in Dallas for a very long time. She has family, she has friends, and when you're married, you got a kid, I think also getting traded to a team that also makes your family happy, it can go a long way. Am I going to miss big-time Hank? No doubt about it. There's no doubt about it, man. I got to know that guy. Really, really cool dude. But overall, if you did not plan on bringing him back, this trade makes some sense. So one more time, let's show the trade details here between the Raiders and the Dallas Cowboys, and then we'll end this cut. So the details were this. Raiders receive a 6th-round pick in 2023. The Dallas Cowboys receive Johnathan Hankins and then a 7th-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. If you made it this far in the video, all I ask you to do is this. Tell your friends about the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications because, man, we are doing a lot of stuff. And we make a shit ton of content. And I like being able to hang out with y'all. I like being able to do this. And at the end of the day, we are family. So if you made it this far, I want you to spam family down in the chat.